Beaver, away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crowscast as we return back to some Highlander action. We finished with the regular season of UGC, and now we are into the playoffs, and we're bringing you the first round of the European Platinum Playoffs. These are two of the teams that went through the season, and this should be a close matched game as both teams ended up with a 5-3 win-loss record after the regular season. They played against each other, and the lower seed, in fact, beat the higher seed during the regular season. So who knows what will happen in this best of three we have for you here tonight. In one corner, we have Gimme opponents who've been in the top three in UGC Platinum over the past few seasons, and a lot of the players who play on the Envision roster who have played in Premiership and TF2 HUD and most recently qualified for the top division in Season 16. Up against them are Suffocating Rubber Rabbits, who have exceeded expectations with some of their players, some retro players who've been around the block a few times, and they in fact beat Gimme opponent during the season. These two teams essentially finished 3rd and 6th, I want to say, during the season. And the winner will be heading through into the next round. I'm CeeJaey, and joining me is Georgebaii and Wiethoofd on the camera. George, are you looking forward to this game, man?
Yeah, definitely. Very closely matched, like you said. Both teams having a very identical regular season, as you said, but also SRR coming out better in the regular season as well against this Gimme opponent team. So definitely going to be a close game indeed coming into these maps, which are going to be an all-stopwatch parade, essentially.
Yeah, we have three games, and we're just trying to find out which order of the maps are going to be played. It was, in fact, Gully Wash. Yeah, in the regular season that was played between these two teams, and it was a victory for Suffocating Rubber Rabbits. The Rabbits taking the victory then, but ending up, based on the points and the rounds, that the way that UGC does their pointing system, it's basically ranked by win-loss, but also if you're equal on a win-loss ratio, then it will go down to the number of rounds you scored and things like that during the game. So despite that victory, both teams finished on 5-3, and Gimme opponent had a better round differential. And something I've noticed about this team, they've been in Platinum for a few seasons now. It is pretty much a mixed team based off of that Envision kind of crew of players. And they always seem to just kind of play through the regular season and never really excel much. They lose to the teams that people expect them to lose to. They might have a close game here. They might lose to a lower ranked team. But when it gets to the playoffs, they really do turn up and really kind of execute in clinical fashion. So it'd be interesting to see if they turn up here for the first stage of the playoffs, or whether the Rabbits are able to continue their form and try and get to the next round. I mean, based on the players that we know are playing, George, and who's, the previous game in the season, who do you think is going into this the favourites? Who's going to be feeling the most confident?
Despite how the regular season panned out, I had to say that Gimme opponent definitely looked like more of the favourites for this match. I think a lot of their roster seemed to be a lot more experienced in general, as opposed to the other side of the Rabbits. And when you look at the names that Gimme opponent are pushing out right now, I think this is a provisional roster that Stinghand gave me beforehand, so it might be different to what I'm saying. But when you see players like, Scrambles, Tertio, Stinghand, Vori, Miju, very experienced players who played in the higher divs for quite a while as well, and coming into Platinum, it's more of a... You could say Platinum is a bit more laid back as opposed to ETF2 World was more of a proving ground for the higher talent coming into ETF2 World perhaps, but I think it's still a good amount of competition nonetheless, and I think the side of Gimme opponent are going to be looking to be committed into this match and looking to try and get that second round in the upper bracket, and maybe trying to experiment with some different strats as well going into this fixture.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the playoffs. People do start to really kind of knuckle down and make sure that they can execute these strats properly. We do have 3 different map types available for us tonight. We're going to be kicking things off on Product, apparently. A bit of confusion as to thinking Badwater was being played, but I don't think it's in the map pool for UGC. So Product, King of the Hill will be played. Upward will be the second map, which is of course a payload map. And finally, if we do have equal maps, if each team wins one map after those first 2 games, we'll be moving on to Steel, which is of course an attack defense map, which is loved by many, hated by more. So it'd be interesting to see. Of course, this is UGC now. In UGC playoffs, games are only played to one half. So in terms of King of the Hill, that is whoever wins 3 rounds. Okay, so it could be 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. But as soon as the team wins 3 rounds, that is the map over. In terms of payload, it is only a best of 1. So there is 1 attack defense phase, and the teams switch and try to beat the time. So it's determined on whoever picked the map. I believe whoever didn't pick the map gets to pick the side on payload. So we'll come to that later on in the second map and potentially the third map. But we're starting off on Product, which is, a very DM-based map. And of those players that you've talked about, George, on both sides, who do you think is going to be the ones to really look at on Product?
If he's playing in this match, I think I had mentioned Vori earlier. He's definitely a very capable scout, and I think given the space and Product, he can really do work on the flanks, and maybe with the synergy with Media as well. I think they may have played with each other for quite a while as well. I think the flanks is going to be definitely something to watch out for Gimme, aside of Gimme opponent.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen things like, especially on Product, a scout can just absolutely dominate. I mean, a scout can either be useless because there are close quarters areas, but if they play smartly, they can absolutely dominate. And I think we did actually see Vori playing for Envision earlier on in the week on Product for the qualifiers in ETF2. So it'll be interesting to see as we are just kind of getting into the map now, getting everybody onto the server, getting ready. There are, of course, some other names like in the season. We do have a couple of other games. As the top 8 go into the playoffs, and it's similar faces. And we do have Failer Esports, who obviously they are the RGL champions now. They're twice the past 2 runners-up in ETF2. We do have a team called Wheelchair as well. They went into the season. It does look like kind of an open squad sort of roster. Very similar players, Strono, Mezzo, Murphy, etc., who play for that ETF2 open squad roster. So there is the potential for some good games heading into the later ends of the playoffs, and I think teams are going to want to get as far as they can because, losing, I think you do get knocked down to a second bracket, a lower bracket. But in doing so, you run that risk of, having a bad game and then you're totally out of the competition. You just really want to get as far in the upper bracket as you can. And of course, there is the potential to get into that grand final. And even if you come in from the lower bracket, you can reset that bracket and win. So we do have Failer Esports against Xenon, Kitty versus Georgebaii Fanboys, Wheelchair versus Art of Throwing. But today's game is going to be Gimme opponent versus Suffocating Rubber Rabbits. We always talk about snipers on this map, George, and kind of the potential for snipers to just absolutely dominate and just destroy teams single-handedly. Do you feel any of that has changed in the past sort of 3 to 6 months with the Razorback change? Because Razorback was banned in UGC because they felt it was too strong. It was allowed in ETF2, but now it's allowed everywhere, I believe. Razorback no longer allows you to be buffed by the medic. So it's all about whether the sniper wants to run the Razorback and not get a buff, or run something else and be susceptible to those stabs. Do you think we've seen a bit of a decrease in the viability of snipers being absolutely destroying this match, or has it not made a difference?
I think it's made a partial difference in terms of the meta play for Sniper, because generally, I mean, teams before with the unnerfed Razorback, they could normally pocket heal their Sniper, and if he was able to hit the shots, he could generally cause havoc for his team, and then basically walk away with the map, essentially. But nowadays, you'd see, I think, a bit more of a dynamic playstyle with Snipers. You see a lot more of them taking a shot, then switching the sight line. I think it's similar to what we've seen before, but just a bit more active in that regards. Normally you would change your position from Sniper and wouldn't stay cozy in the same place for too long because you obviously get counter sniped. But now we're seeing a much more dynamic sort of play for Sniper. You've seen them either really close with the combo, trying to get as much heals as possible with them to try and maximize the damage output, or you sometimes see them playing much more the flank game, basically trying to pick the really awkward sight lines to call out for the enemy team. And I think depending on how much game sense the Snipers have for this game, I think it's going to come into play for Viaduct, definitely, considering how close of a map it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you leave that Sniper unchecked, he can just go to town on your team, and it's very difficult with all those sightlines. Spy, likewise, if a Spy is able to get those picks and then survive and get away, again, can run riot and really just, it's those assassin classes that can just pick one of you off immediately and cause, havoc in the ranks. But we do have 9 players on each team now. Just taking a look at the rosters, we do have struggling to see who's playing what class in the pregame, but I could just go over Suffocating Rubber Rabbits. We've got Vinny on the squad. I think he's going to be playing Scout. Ding Dong Kong, formerly known as Useless of TC fame. We have Sage Luke, the Master of Disaster, Whispers FW, HBFS, another old school player, Mia, Of course, another old school
Debate.
player from way back. And The Unfeeling looks like he's going to be playing Sniper and Church of Defran on Spy. So some old school names there, George, who've been around the block in Highlander for quite a long time. But, you know, who's going to be playing what for not Envision, for Gimme Opponent?
For Gimme Opponent, from what I've gathered from Stinkhand's additional playlist, essentially, we've had Vori on Scouts, we've had Miju on Soldier, I believe. We've also had Resin Pyro, Detoed on Demoman, Scrambled on Heavy, Thunder on Engineer, Tertio sniping, I think, actually on Medic, Stinkhand sniping as always, that was what I meant to say, and I think we've got TS on Spy. There's definitely a lot of experience in the side of the Gimme Opponent roster, but I think the bit more close-knit, you see a lot of these players coming from Envision in the sense, so probably looking at this UGC league as more of a potential basically to test new strats, like I said earlier, as well as generally try to get some more pixels, because we all love pixels, don't we?
Of course, we all want those extra medals to be thrown onto the roster, just to show off people and be like, hey, you know, I was on this team when we won Plat, we got third, or participation, who knows. But yeah, we're just waiting for teams to ready up here. So they're just warming up their aim a little bit pre-game DM. And there are some big names there. I mean, maybe I'm doing it a bit of an injustice by saying this is a sort of an Envision-based roster, as you know, Stinghan is there, Detoed is there, Tercio is there, Vori. But other than that, I don't think any of these guys are really mains for Envision. So we do have the potential for some. I want to say rustiness. You know, usually you see the teams that play together with a similar roster over and over. They have that synergy, they have that chemistry, they know where each other are at all times, and it works out well for them. But when you get these mixed teams, there is that potential for, you know, a really good player that's just got a good DM, just to kind of cause you problems, just going around and, you know, just running around and, you know, causing you a problem. You get a scout unchecked, a sniper, spy, whatever. It can make it a big problem for you. So we'll have to see how this goes. I mean, a more DM-based map. The DM-based map of Gully Wash was won by Suffocating Rubber Rabbits when these two teams came up against each other earlier on in the season. So I'm not sure who chose what map. I'm not sure if you're privy to that information, George.
Not really sure myself, if I'm honest.
Okay. So it was the Rabbits that actually picked this map. So clearly feeling comfortable on this map if they decided to choose it. So therefore it was Gimme Opponent who picked Upward as the second map. We are seeing some of the teams just getting ready now, readying up on the scoreboard. And I'll be interesting to see how the scouts go head to head here, because I think if one of them starts to overpower the other, it could make for an interesting game.
Yeah, and I think what you said earlier definitely brings about like the side of Rabbits have really done their research actually onto this team. They know they've beaten them before on like the DM based map of Gully Wash essentially. So coming onto Product, which is essentially all DM with a bit of more chemistry into the pushes, of course, and like some team coordination. They definitely feel stronger on this map, and I think they'll be looking to give Gimme Opponent a run for their money essentially for this first map.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you get a round up on the board, the thing with King of the Hill is that there is that time factor in it. So, you know, if you get a round up and you get, you know, a minute or two chalked off the next round, you can really get that pressure if you're the losing team, because you think, oh, you know, we have to try and get back into this round, and you can end up doing really well but still lose the round anyway, and then you just feel your backs are up against the wall and you have to make drastic decisions. And that's usually when we see medics start to throw out things like crits. We start to see, you know, demos and scouts and soldiers just going really, really aggressive. And, you know, if the enemy team is wise to that, they can just chill out and just kind of play passive and pick players off as they start to get, you know, overextend, as they get a little bit desperate. But we have seen some classic games on this map. This is pretty much the definitive Highlander map. We've seen some insane plays on LAN, on TF2 HUD, UGC, you know, so many different competitions. It is the map everyone knows in Highlander, everyone plays. And, you know, would you say this or Upward? Because we're going to see both of them today, but, you know, which one of those do you think is like the Highlander map if you had to pick one?
I'd probably go with Upward, if I'm honest. I mean, it's played pretty much every season that TF2 Highlander has existed, essentially. It's always been like the first map you play, apart from some seasons, so it's definitely ingrained in like the 9v9 player brain, essentially, that Upward is like the quintessential map, essentially, and that's why I guess it's played a lot casually as well in lobbies and like mixes and that. But Product definitely gives you a chance to shine in terms of the DM department, definitely allows you to express yourself a bit more in terms of your playstyle, try and get some more aggressive bombs in, or jumps in, or generally just walk around as a pyro and just like hold mouse 1 and everything. So definitely much more diversity on this map as opposed to Upward, I think, which is much more strategically based.
Definitely. I agree with that. I think, if you were to rewind 3 or 4 years, perhaps, Badwater was the one that was always the map on everyone's lips. But now I think Upward has definitely superseded that. And now Product is also up there as a more DM-friendly Highlander variant of map. But we're just having a couple of problems. It looks like SRR, had a player disconnect and crash, and somebody on Gimme Opponents had high ping, so we're just trying to sort those things out. But we are readying up now. We are live for the first match of the playoffs in Season 25 of UGC Platinum. It is going to be Gimme Opponent in the blue and Suffocating Rubber Rabbits on the red side. And we do see aggressive here from Whisper, the red demo, really fast, and just sticking off areas and not allowing anyone to get through there. Dito very late to the mid-fight. I'm not sure what happened on his rollout, but would you see Rabbits kind of having the forward control already?
Yeah, definitely. Master Disaster taking a really aggressive stance up to this point right now, trying to deny any sort of aggression here from the side of Gimme Opponent, and generally spraying down everything right now. I think getting a bit of tag damage onto Stinghand there eventually gets cleaned up by the demo man of Whisper's FW. It might be someone else, I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely a much more aggressive mid there from the side of Rubber Rabbits, and they're going to get this first mid as well, so definitely good stuff from them to catch Gimme Opponent off guard.
I mean, it just shows if your demo is so much faster during a mid-fight, you're able to lock down areas. It just didn't allow Gimme Opponent to get into any area forward. They were just stuck in that main choke area, but Dito is now on the ground pushing forward. Tercio just about to tick over to 100%, but Dito gets backstabbed for the second time already in this game, but huge frags coming in for the side of Gimme Opponent. They pick up 3, and that's going to be enough for them to walk across with this Uber. Rez and Vori getting the majority of the Uber, but it takes them a while to get the Uber for Sage. Luke uses it, and the counter Uber comes in. Vinny is going to try and clean up some players here. He's on the chase. Can he get Fundo? He does. Sniper down for Gimme Opponent, so no picks coming in from that man. And we're about to see Dito walk across plays. Probably should be able to get the cap here, George, but they've managed to get a minute off the time in trade for their medic's life.
Yeah, definitely was a nice pick there from Spyro to get the demo man of Dito there, because it really killed some of the aggression for the push for Gimme Opponent and cost them a lot more time to try and regroup eventually, as we see in cap right now. But initially, the pick onto the demo man really only allowed them a Pyro to essentially push the Uber with, so Rabbits were really inclined to basically milk it and just like reply with their own Uber and get a lot of stuff into it, as the Church of Death tagged with the Spyro is going to get a pick onto Thunder there. So no sniper presence right now for the side of Gimme Opponent, as they look to take this really aggressive forward hold actually onto this clip area.
Yeah, we do see a big bomb in here from Ding Dong Kong. Doesn't manage to get anything done though, and that's the thing now. They have this huge Uber in the hands of Tercio to try and dislodge. They have this forward hold here, Gimme Opponent. It's going to be difficult for them to be broken down. We just see HBFS, who's actually on the heavy, actually gets the force, and they're getting aggressive with this Uber. Sage Luke is trying to get his support, but no, Vori catches him out with the last pistol shot in his clip, taking him out, and that is only 3 up now for Suffocating Rubber Rabbits, as they were just a little bit too far with it. I mean, it's very rare you see a team use an Uber from Cliff down into main, but just the aggression coming in from Gimme Opponent, they knew they had an advantage, and they just felt, hey, we're going to use this, just walk forward, drop down, and try and get the best we can out of it. And in the end, it's a huge exchange. They're going to take the lead on the time now, so they take down to about 1 minute 40. The soldiers doing a little merry dance around each other, and Fundo's just going to pick him out of the sky with a cheeky body shot there. But D-Toad is down, so no demo for Gimme Opponent. Might make this hold slightly easier for the Rabbits to try and break down.
Yeah, I mean, earlier on that beef push, like, the kill feed was just a sea of blue. Like, so many picks were going to the side of Gimme Opponent, and it really brought them a lot of time for this cap right now. So we're going into 1 minute 20 seconds left on their cap. We've got Spyro trying to make waves in the back lines, trying to get some sort of pick on, and he's going to get able to get a pick on Tavori, so we could maybe open up some sort of opening in the flank right now for the side of the Rubber Rabbits. But at the moment, it seems to be a bit tentative to actually push in here. They're going to try and get some players into the left side right now. I think I think Eustace is going to eventually try and maybe come with some sort of bomb here, but the Uber does come out for the side of Gimme opponent. We see Tertio here popping it all into Dito. Just going to jump in really deep, actually trying to get immediately onto CeeJaey here, who actually pops off there. So nice force from Dito, I think, which we think was the intention. And now with the rest of the Rubber Rabbits forced to push in with this Uber, which is going to wear out very soon. They're going to be forced to get this cap with a slight Uber advantage now on the side of Gimme opponent, despite the pick disadvantage.
Yeah, they've lost players, but it does mean their respawns are going to be much faster now. Sniper is down for the Rabbits, so there's not going to be much pressure. They can just walk in for free here, but Little Jessica tries to walk through and gets destroyed there. And a bit of spy on spy action as Spyro takes down the manager, Stinghand, who is actually on spy rather than sniper. We do see kind of a decent hold here, but I feel this pressure is just going to build up, and any pick is going to become huge. You see the weak players here for the Rabbits. They're just kind of having to back off, giving more and more space. Fundo does go down to the unfeeling, but huge aggression coming in here from the soldiers, getting so much damage down. 4 down, make that 5 for the Rabbits. CeeJaey decides he's just going to back off there, wants to hold on to that Uber, doesn't want to risk having to use or even drop it there, as it's pretty much just DMing their way forward, Gimme opponent, winning the fight and managing to get that capture, and they are 30 seconds away from taking this first round.
Yeah, despite the initial picks that Marv was getting, there wasn't really much of an answer for that push there from the side of Rubber Rabbits. It just seemed to collapse generally under the pressure for the aggression of the side of Gimme opponent. But now with the time constraint coming in with 20 seconds left, they're going to be looking to try and get some more aggressive strats in. We see the Uber popped up on the left side with Tertio here, initially onto the soldier, I think, of this Gimme player, I don't know who is. But anyway, they're going to be looking to compensate the position onto this point. They've got 8 seconds left. It has to be Rubber Rabbits to commit to this, but only 4 players up to commit to this. It's going to be hard to get the overtime right now, and indeed I think the side of Gimme opponent is going to get this.
Yeah, you end up in that situation where you have to push. Even if the enemy team has an Uber advantage, if the enemy team is doing a forward hold, you have to push. You have to get bodies on the point so that round doesn't die. And in the end, Gimme opponent overturning a minute deficit at the start there to win that first round. And Dito is much faster this time. It's about equal on the 2 demo. You see Vinny getting aggressive. Big jump from Ding Dong Kong. Gets in from behind. And he's just causing a bit of a distraction. He's up in the air. Miju is going to try and DM him there. And Ding Dong Kong gets out somehow. So still it's only Master of Disaster gets down. But I'm feeling that the headshot onto Ballsy goes down. And we're just basically seeing frags. But in the end, it's Gimme opponent who have the ground on the point. And with that smidgen of high ground that point affords you, they're able to get the cap and get some more frags. But they lose Fundo in the process. And this may be an opportunity for the Rabbits to re-push here, as they've got no worry about a sniper and they've got a lot of space for theirs.
Yeah, I think as soon as the flank pressure died for the side of Rubber Rabbits, we saw Vori and I think it was the Pyro of Vinny and Master Disaster actually dying early in the mid-fight. But we didn't really have much of an answer to deny any sort of aggression here from the Gimme opponent. We've got to get to this Uber exchange right now with much better Uber actually with the side of Rubber Rabbits coming in here. So maybe there was a force there on the side of Gimme opponent, and they're going to be looking to draw them back as they get this cap right now. Very even actually on the time side. We've got a big bomb here from the blue soldier actually of Miju, trying to get as far behind as possible for the this flank right now. He's going to get a pick onto Mia as well with a nice shot there, and just generally be a distraction from the side of this Rubber Rabbits team as the Gimme opponent look for the recap.
Yeah, that's just classic King of the Hill, where you allow the enemy team to cap, but you manage to get a ton of frags as they're doing it, which means their respawns are so much longer. If you have control of the point, your respawns are much longer. So Gimme opponent abusing that ability to respawn faster, just walking forward with their bodies and taking that ground. But they have lost 3 here. They are trying a bit of a forward hold. They do have about a 20-30% Uber advantage, but have to be careful trying to do this with players down. And we see the Rabbits are pushing up on this far side, and they have space. They have their sniper with them, and they're just trying to make their way towards the point, maybe get an angle on the medic or something like that. They know they don't have Uber just yet, and their opponents do. As the Uber is used onto Dito, it's going to be Master of Disaster to try and deny this. He's doing a great job of just air blasting them away, buys his team enough time for that Uber to wear out, and now Sage does have 100% Uber, uses it straight away onto HBFS, and Ding Dong Kong is going to get the rest of that, trying to walk forward and take some ground. They take down Rez, the Pyro. But there's not very many key frags there, actually. The medic is alive, sniper is alive, but no, Dito and Boozy both go down. That's the combo dead. Great surf there from CeeJaey. Gets away from Miju's rocket all the way onto Cliff into safety. Great play by him. About a minute behind here, but they're doing really well to recapture the point, and that was a great play by the team.
Yeah, nice serve there for CeeJaey to avoid that, and I thought it was going to be a bit more disadvantageous for the side of Rubber Rabbits. I mean, there was a bit of a panic over there for the side of CeeJaey. He like flashed a lot of players in going into that push, and I thought the later fight was going to pan out not in their favour, but eventually it does. We saw CeeJaey there just surviving, and the rest of the team managing to get the space they need to recap this point. With 2 minutes left on their side, we've got like about 90 seconds left on the side of Gimme opponent, who have the round advantage, of course, in this first to 3 map, as Thunder gets a nice pick up there onto Ding Dong Kong or Reusus, and actually onto CeeJaey as well, so no medic now for the side of SRR, looking to try and probably lick their wounds and try and think of some sort of repush pass, or try and get some panic picks.
Yeah, it's just the situation where they're just taking it slow. Fundo on a bit of a mad one right now, on a 4 kill streak, as is Vori, picks a couple of frags with that Uber. And at the moment, Gimme opponent just walking forward, playing together as a unit, allowing their sniper kind of full range, just giving him time and space, no pressure on him whatsoever, and he's able to just get those headshots off and eventually gets a key pick, which is allowing Gimme opponent again to do a forward hold here. But there we go, the unfeeling there gets a nice headshot onto Dito, so no demo now. And again, that makes this forward hold slightly more difficult to hold on to, but everybody on Suffocating Rubber Rabbits is weak or dead, and it's very difficult for them as Fundo hits up to a 5 kill streak now. And, you know, about 30 seconds left on the clock again, and it's going to have to be all or nothing here from the Rabbits. They have to go in. They have about a 10% advantage here, George. They just need to walk in DM and hope that their charge proves to be more effective than their opponents.
Yeah, good read from Spyro though to get the pick onto Thunder to try and make some sort of opening for his team right now. With 15 seconds left, the rest of the Rubber Rabbits are looking to try and basically swarm onto this point and try and get as much overtime as possible to try and push some sort of refight. The Uber's going to be popped up for both teams right now. The rest of it going on HBFS for the side of Rubber Rabbits, and the rest of it going to the combo players for the side of Gimme opponent. So it's just going to come to this last overtime fight right now. Going to be generally scrambled on the point right now. You've got Master Disaster trying to deny space with Vinny, and nearly actually getting the recap right now, but now the players starting to come in for the side of Gimme opponent. We're actually very down on numbers, so got to be careful not to get caught out here in terms of the combo. Tertiary still in really deep, and looking to try and commit to this recap besides anyway.
Yeah, we do see a bit of a swap here as Ballsy is now on the Spy and Stinger is now on the Heavy, but he gets headshot there just before the cap goes down. But yeah, it's just one of those situations. Like I said, the Rabbits needed to go in deep. They had a small advantage, but they need to be aggressive with that Uber, because what they did, they went onto the point and they tried to cap, and then that just allowed that few seconds Gimme opponent needed to get their Uber, be aggressive with it. They didn't care if they lost the cap, because that meant they had better respawns. Didn't care if they, you know, they lost their medic. They just were fighting. As we do see a lot of frags going down. That's the entire combo. Rez, Dito, and Sting, and all dead for Gimme opponent. Ballsy kind of equalizes things up a bit. Going to backstab onto Ding Dong Kong. There is no sniper for the Rabbit, so he's going to give Fundo a bit more space as he's just pocketing his medic at the moment, trying to get the space to get an angle onto somebody important. But again, we're seeing, despite the lack of a combo, Gimme opponent being the ones who are aggressive. Backstab comes in from Ballsy to take down the Demo Man. Whispers is dead. Vinny is going to try and go for a hero play, takes down Vori, but that's all he can get. Gimme opponent somehow, despite losing their Pyro, Demo, and Heavy in the opening seconds, end up winning that mid-fight.
Yeah, I think the initial flank picks from Thunder really opened up some space for the side of Gimme opponent to come in there and again get in the pick onto HBFS. So a lot of space now for the side of the cliff right now for the side of Gimme opponent. Got Tertiary in really deep with Zuba right now, just trying to pick a perfect opportunity to use this right now. We've got the sentry gun really forward step from Maya, but now eventually the Uber's going to get popped up and looking to rush this into spawn. We're going to see the Lemon trying to come in immediately. Yeah. Trying to get some damage in. Probably a bit too ambitious there. Probably could have maybe saved that Uber for a later time. And actually never noticed the pirate behind him. We got Master in trying to immediately get onto the medic here. We're essentially going to have to take a detour through the house, it looks like. Maybe trying to pick up any sort of straggler players, and actually going to get picked off by Rez there. So very close stuff here for Tertiary in terms of like surviving. But does eventually escape with his life as the rest of the team look to try and consolidate the position. While Fundo's still managing to kill stuff, eventually getting picked off by Marv though. So now the sniper pressure is out of the way for the side of the Gimme opponent.
Oh. Sorry, we saw Fundo there with a headshot, or sorry, body shot drop onto Sage Luke, but then we see, you know, sniper for the Rabbits deciding, hey, whatever you could do, I could do exactly the same. It gets a headshot onto Tercio, so no heals by the team for a short second there, but Tercio is up now. Sage Luke with a 25% advantage that's allowed his team to recapture or capture the point for the first time in this round at least. They of course need to win this round. If they don't win this round, they will end up losing this map because we're only playing to one half in UGC. Whoever gets to 3 rounds first will win. A lot of people people going down left, right, and center for the Rabbits, including their medics. That's going to be a big uber advantage for Tercio. Now he's already at 40% as he's starting to walk forward. And this is what I was talking about, George. They're just playing it slow, getting frags, but no Ding Dong Kong just comes in and destroys Tercio. So medics are dying. They just cannot survive for the time being here, as they're just getting bombed, they're getting sniped, they're getting pressured by everyone on the map. And Gimme opponent recaptures this point, but it's not looking simple.
No, definitely not. Losing your medic into that melee is going to be pretty disadvantageous for the later fight, but eventually he's going to go have to respawn, so now heal's definitely flowing for the side of Gimme opponent, but generally a slight uber disad actually on the side of Gimme opponent. It's probably looking to play a bit more passively just because of the time advantage they have right now, but about a minute lead anyway. And actually Tercio going down to Pipes there from Whistle's FW, and then Spyro getting the pick onto Detotes, the combo falling apart for the side of Gimme opponent as he looked to recap this point for the side of Rabbits.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's about a minute difference at the moment, but with CeeJaey having 90% now, it's going to be a huge uber advantage. So, you know, oh, the spike comes in, Ballsy's trying to go for something, trying to get his revolver out, gets taken down eventually. So as long as the Rabbits don't bleed players here, they're going to have an uber advantage. That should equalize the times a bit, but Whispers goes down there, gets taken out by the stickies of Detoad. So it's going to be another 15 seconds until there's any demo man pressure, as Thunder gets a snipe onto Mia, and these defensive classes are being picked off here by Gimme opponent, playing it slow, maybe just trying to walk through and get a force now, as they do have that to contend with. Tercio only at 50% as they're coming into the cliff now. But no, Vinny winning the fight against Miju, takes him down. The Master of Disaster comes in, takes down D2, takes down the teleporter, and he's top scoring for his team at the moment, doing a lot of work. And Suffocating Rubber Rabbits actually are probably going to take the lead here. They did use the U, but I totally missed that. But they are going to take the lead in the time stakes here, George. And for the first time we've seen in these 3 rounds, we've seen them manage to kind of come back from a deficit after a lead. So we'll see if they can hold on to it here, but they are bleeding a few players.
Yeah, Rubber Rabbit's definitely taking a much more aggressive stance suddenly, in spite of the 2 round disadvantage. Probably looking to try and get some sort of momentum shift here. But the Uber does actually come out on the side of Gimme opponent onto Vori here. He's looking to try and make waves into the flank. He's going to be really deep actually into the spawn. He's going to try and get onto CeeJaey. He's going to be in deep onto him, trying to get this pick onto him. It's going to be still trying to fight out. It's missing every shot, and eventually has the full whack, and eventually gets picked off there by HBFS. So close stuff there for CeeJaey in terms of duking there. But we decided to Gimme opponent with this time they have on the point right now. It's looking to try and get some sort of decent hold here. We've got Ballsy actually on the full hold here onto Cliff. He's got to be careful not to get caught out here with this general spam coming his way. It's going to be opponent looks to try and hold their ground for this crucial round. Yeah, they do get a couple of picks. I mean, there is an uber advantage for CeeJaey, but they're losing a couple of players. HBFS has just respawned, and they need to push sometime soon. Tercio's at 60%. It's not close to Uber, but he's not the furthest away he could be. And if they can get a push here, take down the medic, that is going to be a big advantage for them in the final few seconds of this round. The Uber's used quite early on. They haven't got chasing classes. It's going to be HFS gets launched forward actually and takes down that sentry. Bundo gets a frag onto the Spy. That is Spyro down, and there we go. Rabbits have managed to recapture the point, but Tercio survived. He's going to have Uber. They're going to come in and try and clear the play. D2 does get dropped out of the Uber, but there's only 4 players left alive for the Suffocating Rubber Rabbits. Mia goes down, Team Fourier, Fundo takes down her sentry, and Ding Dong Kong trying to get aggressive here on the point with CeeJaey. There's only about 10 seconds left to go before Gimme opponent will win this round and win the map. Yeah, they really need to look at getting some overtime right now as we come into the last seconds. It doesn't look like it though. There's no players really close up right now. We've got Spyro eventually going to try and come in just about getting the overtime. Not be stuff from here, and a lot of players coming in actually for the side of Rubber Rabbits just in the nick of time. So this overtime is going to flow for them and eventually try and get some sort of push here. As the rest of the Gimme opponent players looking to try and consolidate a position on the right side. Eventually going to get the heals from Tercio to try and make some sort of push here. But with the height advantage from Ding Dong Kong and the rest of the team, it's probably looking to be a much more difficult fight here as we come into the last few seconds here for the side of the Rubber Rabbits actually eventually going to swarm onto this point, and we got the CeeJaey actually launch forward somehow and eventually going to get minced down right there. It's just 2 players up on the side of Rubber Rabbits, and that's going to be the first map to Gimme opponent.
Yeah, at the end there, we just saw Vori just cleaning up all the weak players on the point, and Fundo basically is just shooting fish in a barrel. He was in a safe position, just picking people off at ease, and that's the problem when you just have that much pressure on the point. There was a great opportunity for the Rabbits to get something there as they recaptured. Like you said, it was Spyro. They got the backstab and got onto the point just in time to force the overtime, but it wasn't quite enough. And, you see kind of missed opportunities there. It was unfortunate, but I think Gimme opponent just looked too strong there. They just seemed to know what to do. And every time there was a random DM fest or a bit of chaotic gameplay going on, they always seem to come out on top.
Yeah, definitely. And bear in mind, this was actually Rubber Rabbit's pick in terms of the map, so very surprising actually to be losing that sort of convincing fashion. So it's probably going to be a big blow to their motivation, I think, in terms of coming into Upward right now.
Absolutely. I mean, in a playoff situation, when you come into a game and you think, oh, hey, we've picked this map, we're going first. To lose that first map that you picked and then have to go and play on your opponent's map, it's difficult. I mean, I think the blow might be softened by the fact that it's only a best of one on Upward. So, there is that potential for something to go on. We take a look at the logs from the previous game there, and we do see top fragging was Vori with 37 kills, and Fundo down with 29. I mean, this was in just 17 minutes, so that's over 2 kills a minute for Vori, and Fundo doing very well himself indeed. In fact, top fragging in that game, 490 DPM. Vinny doing pretty well as well. The opposing scout on the Rabbits there with 23 kills, and then the Unfeeling, who, not sure if that's the correct name or not, but is 22 kills. So scouts and snipers, again, proving that they can still top frag on product no matter what nerfs come their way. I guess it's pretty square across the board there between the rest of the players, but when you're getting nearly 50 frags more than the enemy team, it's difficult. There's a lot of damage differential there, 8,000 damage, 50 more kills more or less. It's just when you've got that much pressure going on, that much of a difference, it's very hard for your team to cope and recap, because there were moments where the Rabbits pushed forward and they did well. We managed to recap and get themselves in a good position, but they were only 6 players up when they capped because somebody had been picked off, or somebody had been sniped, or someone had lost a 1v1, and then the repush come in from Gimme opponent, and it was just much easier for them to win based on those numbers alone.
Yeah, definitely. So huge shift actually in the frags from what I just seen. I just don't actually glance at the logs and immediately see Vori 37-14. So huge numbers from him coming onto this product map. Essentially 400 damage a minute as well, which is a big number actually for Scout. And yeah, generally the cyber fight going in the way of Fundo there generally with the more headshots and more kills essentially. But generally not much else actually between the teams here. Actually, the only big detriment I see is Maya, I guess, 3-15 on engineer on product.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the stats here between Ballsy and Stinger because they were switching classes. I'm trying to work out who's the better heavy and who's the better spy. Because Stinger, more well known as a sniper main, of course, and Ballsy, formerly known as Scrambled, obviously a heavy main. So more used to playing heavy, but I'm not sure why Stingen's playing those classes, if that's his choice or he's just kind of filling in the gap for someone's missing. I don't know, but doing okay for himself on 2 different classes across the map there. The medic stats, just taking a look, we just saw the 1 drop in the game coming in from Sage Luke there. That was that body shot from Fundo. I believe that took him down. Med picks, nothing too interesting. Miju, they're getting the most 3, but no one really standing out too much. But we're going on to Upward now. Different kettle of fish here, George. This is going to be payload. This is going to be, tactical point-to-point pushing. And, Scout maybe not as effective across certain points. So maybe these 2 scouts are going to not have as much of a fun time as they did on product. But definitely sniper sightlines to be abused. Sniper sightlines to be worried about if you're the pushing team. Based on what we've seen, based on the fact that this map was picked by Gimme opponent, do you think they're going to see that out 2 maps to 0, or do you see any sort of a comeback here from Rabbits?
I think there'll be some sort of partial comeback coming in from Rabbits, because we saw some flashes of brilliance actually in some of their pushes. Actually, they managed to get a good amount of time on some of the rounds, but it just didn't work out in the end. So I think Rabbits aren't essentially going to flunk this map. They're not going to not cap first straight off. They're going to actually make some progress. But I think generally it's going to pan out. I think with the momentum that opponent has, they're probably looking to seal this up in 2 maps, I think. And also for the side of Rubber Rabbits, they're probably thinking about, right, the first map didn't go entirely to plan. We got Upward right now. It just doesn't go to plan. We still got the losers bracket if we need it.
Yeah, I mean, moving on to Steel would be interesting if we do see things leveled up here, because Steel is such a crazy map when it comes to, you can be tactically aware, you can know what to do all the time and think, yeah, we know we're going to do this, we're going to execute here, we're going to do that. But then a drop or, a huge pick on a demo or an NG or something like that can totally change the map. There can be crazy things that happen. You can see cheesy strats that just go straight from A to E. Who knows what will happen if we do manage to get there. But yeah, I don't think the game's over. I think there still is the potential. I mean, let's not forget the fact that, Suffocating Rubber Rabbits did pick Badwater as their map and until they realized that Badwater wasn't in the UGC rotation. So, it's not as if they're too scared of Payload. Not as if they hate Payload. But we are being told now that it's going to be a best of 3 on Upward, actually. So the two teams have agreed that it is going to be a best of 3, which can happen in UGC. It's best of 1 by default. If people disagree on that, it is best of 1. That's the rules. But if both teams agree that it can be a best of 3, then that's how it will be played, which seems that the two teams are keen to have a little bit of more TF2 action for us tonight. So we'll be playing on that. Hopefully these teams switch up the config to the right one before we ready up, because nothing worse than starting a game with the wrong config and having the server owner being yelled at because, hey, it's a Koth config on a Payload map.
Yeah, your obligatory player spam of wrong config.
Yeah. Question marks, we've all been there.
Yeah, but at least the bonus is if you cap third, you always feel like you've won.
Yeah, the game's ended. Yeah, you can go home now. Yeah, GG. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Don't think it will. But we'll be ready here in a moment. It does look like it's going to be Gimme opponent attacking first in the blue, and then Suffocating Rubber Rabbits in the red defending, and then we'll swap teams around, and the Rabbits will try to beat the time set by Gimme opponent, either by capping more points, or if Gimme opponent managed to cap the last point, doing it in a faster time. This is a best of 3, so we'll be seeing at least 2 attack defense phases from each team. After we've kind of warmed up here a little bit, maybe people need to warm up differently for Payload. Who knows?
Nah, warm up DM is still the quintessential of Highlander. You gotta get those 3 points for your strangers.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you need that mandatory 47 minutes of warm up before everyone's on the server, and then an extra 10 minutes for everyone to just get their drinks and get ready, and make sure they don't have 100 ping. And if Highlander's starting on time, it's just not a thing. It's a myth, like Bigfoot and Loch Ness. Actually, I actually think it's more likely for me to see Loch Ness having tea with Bigfoot, in Buckingham Palace, than I will be seeing a Highlander game played on time. But we'll come back to that later, as we are live now into the setup time. Who's going to be the man to look out for, or the lady, sorry, to look out for here, George, on this map from either team?
On this map, good question. I think D-Toad might be able to do some. Actually, he's on a different class. Actually, he's on Sniper right now. So, and sort of mixing up the classes in general. I think on the side of Gimme opponent, you see Bori on Demoman. We got D-Toad on Sniper, Stinghand on Heavy again, and Ballsy on Medic. Interesting indeed. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're feeling because it's a best of 3, they can afford to lose a round. I mean, everyone has changed classes except for Rez on Pyro, Miju on Soldier, and Little Jessica on NG. Stinger's now on Sniper. So who was on Sniper before? Fundo's on Spy. No, D-Toad's gone back to Sniper. I mean, nothing has changed for the Suffocating Rubber Rabbits. So I'll be interested to see if the combo here, Master of Disaster, Whisper, HPFS, do something huge here. And we do see the crits coming out from Ballsy, the blue medic, and it is going to be used early. That first stick comes in, and there was a bit of a pause, a bit of lag, but Vinny goes down. And I think this isn't going to be Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no, the configs! We talked about this.
I mean, I look at the top. I mean, I don't think people can see on the stream. If you look at the top, it's got those 3 little notches. That's the first of 3 on Koth. And it's this is professional Highlander UGC Platinum. It's not going to count because it's the wrong config. And we can talk about that. What do you have for dinner tonight, George? You had your dinner yet?
I had something fancy when I was in the pub. Actually, it was very, very light. Actually, and refreshing. I had it was smoked salmon with cream cheese, poached egg on sourdough toast.
Oh my days! I bet you shop at like Waitrose as well, don't you? Like you're one of those. Just
well, there's an M&S and Plymouth I regularly visit, so I keep my high class eateries available.
I'm feeling proper low. I just threw together a sandwich before this game. I'm feeling proper lower class right here. I don't think in our I think the teams know, but yeah, they're just kind of sorting it out now. So maybe that's going to be kind of because it's Stinghan's fault. Just so everyone knows, someone has typed who in the chat with the exclamation mark, and that does let you know who reserved the server. So there's no denying it. There's no portioning the blame out. It's whoever reserved the server. It's your fault. So maybe after that, there's going to be a little bit of grounding, and maybe Gimme opponent think, actually, we should just play our normal classes and just play the game. We'll see how it starts.
Unless it's all some sort of like really diabolical master plan for the side of Gimme opponent, just like draw out the time and try and drain the energy from the side of the rubber rabbits.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to come out with the crits again. Like they've just said in chat, we're going to do exactly the same thing. By the way, so we'll have to see what happens.
They're discussing like which one of us is dead because of the server, so I think it's going to be definitely Stinghan in that case. Poor Stinghan. Like but
yeah. I mean, they're just discussing at the moment about whether they're going to, go back to where they were in that game just now, or whether we restart from the beginning. I'm not sure what the official rules are. I guess if it's a server mistake, then you just have to restart. Whitelists are also being changed. Just kids out there, you're thinking of playing Highlander, just make sure you got your server settings correct beforehand. Makes it easier for you, makes it easier for us, makes it easier for everybody.
Otherwise, they'll come to your house and reserve it for you.
Yes, yeah, and you don't want that. You don't want an angry Dutchman called Wiethoofd coming round to your house, screaming at you, and just mumbling things about MVM and whitelists and HUDs, and then reserving a server for you, because it's not pleasant. It's happened to a few of us. It's very hard to get them out of your house afterwards, and it's just not a nice experience. So just make sure if you're playing payload, you need the stopwatch config. We're all sorted now, so I think all the teams are just waiting to kind of decide whether we're just going to start from afresh, pretend that didn't happen, that was just a blip, that was just some extra DM afterwards.
Yeah, this is deja vu. Like, you experiencing the start of the match once again. This is actually, nothing's changed at all. Nothing has changed. This is the same game.
Singer's like, what do you mean I had the wrong server? No, we're just starting now. We're just starting now.
I was about to say, we've just mentioned something about the whitelist as well. I think Stinghan was actually saying that it was broken, so don't use Girardi.
Yeah.
And some dirty crime boy wants to give mini crits to his team.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for these teams to. I don't think it's arguing so much. It's just discussing about how exactly stuff is going to go on. But we can do a little bit of plugging for our own benefit here. If you want to check out the Chriscast Patreon to help out casters and producers and things like that. For Chriscast, it helps the people who do the work behind the scenes. It helps the casters for us to make this more of an enjoyable experience for you, for us putting out our spare time to try and bring Highlander and Sixes and Nature's Cup action to you guys. Of course, there's also merchandise. You can check it out in the Chriscast Discord. There's plenty of information about it there. If you want to pick up some dazzling TF2 Highlander stuff for yourself, all the information is there, and of course the funds go to help Chriscast. But we do like we are ready now. I'm just really worried. I mean, we've been burned before, George. We've been baited so many times.
I mean, once again, Gimme opponent look like they've done a real decide on their classes again. We got Tertio on Scout, we got Ballsy still on Medic, question mark, question mark, question mark. We got D-Toad on Sniper, Fundo Spy, again like we saw before, and then actually got Miju on Soldier and Reds on Pyro, so some sort of similarity there. But once again, things relatively unchanged on the side of Rubber Rabbit, so probably not expecting this shift suddenly in the classes.
We're seeing it switch up at the last second there. The old switcheroo where you're like, oh, the Spice checked my minigun, and I'm going to switch just as the gates open. So they are going to be on crits.
And delivery give us 50% disadvantage while we're like charging it as well.
Yeah.
So, but they'll get it before then anyway. As we've seen Marv getting the first blood there, and actually Whisper's following up as well with 2 kills there. So 2 players down there ready for the side of Gimme opponent, as they're just looking to like creep this cart forward in the trench to give it into a good position for this Uber push. Normally what you do in Prologue is you don't push before you get the cart past roof. Otherwise you got to have the awkwardness of like going back and sending your scout back to basically cap it again while your rescue hold forwards for a significant amount of time. So basically just creeping that cart forward. We've got Ballsy waiting in spawn, waiting to push up right now as he's looking to do it. Actually we've got Vori with this demo man now, which is a bit strange like considering the last map. The rest of the Rubber Rabbits, they're doing their thing, just looking to basically play defensively to try and get any sort of pikes right now. But the crits have now popped out, and Rory actually getting picked up to a demo man and a Whisper. So no demo now for the side of the Rubber Rabbits as the Uber comes out on their side, which was Thunder crits. As we got Thunder actually coming in behind it. It's going to pick up Maya, and the Sentry's going to be sapped as well. That's going to be a good boost here for the side of Gimme opponent, and the huge picks as well for the side of Gimme opponent. It's surely going to secure this first point.
Yeah, Pyro comes in res with 2 or 3 kills there. I mean, killed a bunch of people and took down the teleporter and the dispenser, which is of course the crucial pick in all of this exchange. You get that dispenser down, you get free reign to do whatever the hell you want. Before he's getting aggressive here, Thunder comes in, sneaking in for the backstab onto Whispers. It's going to be very difficult to hold on to this point. Master of Disaster is in the side tunnel, and actually Ballsy has gone down. Spyro sneaking in there, gets the backstab onto the medic. Vori with the pipes. Does take down the Spy in return, but this may give a bit of an opportunity for the Rubber Rabbits to hold on to this second point. They're bleeding a couple of players, but nice snipe there from up. Takes down Little Jessica. He's getting some headshots. Stingan is very, very weak. He's used to be doing the sniping, not getting shot as the Fat Man, but gets an arrow, so he's up to a bit more HP. And we do see full respawns coming in for Gimme opponent. 50% for Sage Luke on the Medigun, so it's not as if they could even Uber out at this second point, George. I think they're just going to back up to third and try to get a good hold there.
Yeah, this is the sort of trap you get sometimes when we play upwards. Like, if your first hold is very poor, or like you get a really short time on it, and like you panic and try to set up a rush second defense, but don't get enough defense on it, it basically snowballs from there. And suddenly you end up at your last point with like barely any sort of defense setup and a very short time in need. So you've got to be careful not to really be too panicky in terms of their play. They've got to try and play really defensively, try and secure these picks to try and buy some time for their team to set up the proper defense right now. So Rubber Rabbits with this normal hold now for the Sentry on the tracks. We've got the Sniper of Marv set up behind it as well. Your general upward setup, I guess, as you can see, as the rest of the Gimme opponent players look to get the cart past the spiral here.
Yeah, you do see a situation where the cart gets a little bit stuck because getting spammed out by a few different things. The Uber does come in though aggressively, and Sentry's going to go down there to the stickies of Vori, but the Pyro is just going to push away. Master of Disaster doing a great job just denying the space. It cost him his life, but we do see a big bomb in here from Miju. Is going to take down Vinny, and the Uber's wearing off. Ballsy went down there to Vinny. He was just getting aggressive on the slope, and despite being 3 down here, Rubber Rabbits may be able to hold this, but no, they lose another player. D-Toad there with the sniper to HBFS, and it's going to be very difficult for them to hold on here. Just a level 1 Sentry. They don't have any Uber, but a nice headshot there. Takes down Vori, so no Demo Man. Might give them a little bit of more breathing room.
So yeah, the side of Rubber Rabbits, they're really not looking to give up the space right now. Still struggling to get up the cart past Spiral even, as a good hold actually generally from Rubber Rabbits, and looking to try and get more picks with Marv, generally denying any sort of space on the left side and the flank. You want to get a really good push off here on the side of Gimme opponent. You want to try and commit your heavy, ideally if you can, onto balcony, because you get such a significant height advantage actually on the other players, and generally got a lot more options to play with there. And you can knock down the spawn, you can try, like rushing into the left side while the players try to fall back. So Gimme opponent definitely looking for some sort of opening here. Maybe a pick onto Marv, because he's currently not dying at the moment. He's getting a lot of kills actually on the sniper rifle. Yeah,
he's on a 6 kill streak, and if the snipers just allowed the room to just take pot shots, you know, eventually they're going to hit shots, and when it's a good sniper, they're going to get crucial players. And we do see the Spy here coming in from behind, but no, Marv's on the rotate now, so not in a really good position to go for that play. And again, we're in a situation here where, you know, we're on third, and, you know, equal Ubers. Uber comes in onto Vori. He's going to get a lot of spam down onto the sentry, but he's being wrangled. Whispers has actually gone down, so no demo for the defending team. Counter Uber's going to come in and do a ton of damage. Master Disaster just pushing people away. Ballsy has gone down. Ding Dong Kong manages to get a couple of frags there. Marv gets a 7 kill streak, takes down D-Toad. No sniper pressure from the attacking team, and it's all gone wrong here for Gimme opponent. They just aren't in the right positions after the Uber. The Uber is being used so much earlier, and the defensive counter is coming out and destroying them, and Ballsy has been dying in these pushes. And it does look like they're going to be starting up on the crits, trying to switch things up here, George. And I'm not sure if that's a good idea on third point, but we'll have to see how it works out.
We also got a conch getting pops off here from Eustace actually onto this flank. He's going to be looking to try and get some sort of a heal advantage for his team, to get some sort of speed boost. Maybe come in commit for a bomb actually with that speed boost as well. But just looking to try and give his teammates the health boost. The health boost? What? That's a weird word. Health buff, I meant to say. As it now finally wears off, and he's going to be trying to span that back box into this generally quite a nice pincer point actually onto that choke point. If you get a nice good player onto the balcony there, you can generally deny so much space like you're heavy. And actually Eustace is going to try and get deep into Ballsy, but eventually going to be back off. And Ballsy just about escapes with life.
Yeah, Ballsy was so weak there, but he does get out, and there was so much pressure on the cart there from some of the Gimme opponent players that they actually ended up forcing the Uber that way. CeeJaey getting aggressive with the Uber Saw, just trying to get into the faces. He's not died, and actually it's medic versus medic. Ballsy is so weak, and CeeJaey almost getting something there in what looked like a horrible situation for him, but does manage to die in the end. And it's going to be a crits advantage, but now Rubber Rabbits are going to know that there is a crits in play from Ballsy. It's not going to be an Uber charge, so they can set themselves up defensively accordingly to that excess damage coming in. We see an aggressive sentry from Mia is in the window watching main. This is a very aggressive sentry, which we kind of only see in these forward holds coming in from teams, but so far 629 isn't too bad for those first 3 points. I think Rubber Rabbits are going to be quite pleased with this, especially as this crits is going to be kind of all or nothing. I feel they have to get a lot of kills with this, otherwise they're going to set them back a stage.
Yeah, now coming into this last hold, it's a really crucial stage actually for this. It really determines like how good your time will be. If you really get a decent last hold, it's so difficult to actually push into sometimes that if it's really executed well, if you get your sniper swang from the spawn, you get your combo up top, basically denying any sort of high ground advantage for the side of Gimme opponent, it can really give them a huge time actually into this map. And actually we're going to see a crits creep popped up here from Ballsy, and actually going to get 2 kills there actually. I think HBFS went down, but the sentry from Maya denying any sort of combo pressure there for Ori, and Gimme Res immediately going down there. So eventually just looking to try and get some cap time and try and push the cart into this last area right now. Ideally maybe get onto the ramp to try and force that sort of critical situation where you have to absolutely be focused on cart 24/7, but eventually you're going to be looking to back off here with this Uber.
They've got some good kills though. Master of Disaster is going to return in kind and get some more. Sniper down, entry down, demo down, and soldier down. That's a lot of defensive pressure out of the window as Master of Disaster finally goes down after taking out the opposing Pyro. So should be an opportunity here for some good cap time. Lil Jessica with the Widowmaker takes down Sage Luke. We see Spyro trying to get on the cart, but it's actually Vori who's doing a majority of the capping. There should be a cap here for Gimme opponent. Only a few players left alive for Rubber Rabbits, but they're not getting bodies on the cart. Mia's now on the mini sentries, does her best, and then we see the defensive combo tried to come in there late on, but can't get anything done. And in the end, 8 minutes 20 is it's not a fast time, I'd say.
Yeah, the cap was generally secured there once they decided Rubber Rabbits didn't really have any players to contest it with, because like the respawns don't come fast enough to contest it, so basically it just snowballs from there, and eventually you're going to have to get the point up. So quite an, I'd say, above average time for the side of Gimme opponent, I guess. I mean, sometimes you get a really strong last hold, you can put it into double digits in terms of minutes, but for the side of Rubber Rabbits now, looking to try and commit to this round, try and get something on the scoreboard. They haven't run around yet, essentially, in the series. So this would be a good motivational boost for them, and maybe could convert it into a map win to take it to a decider onto Steel.
Definitely, I think that's Rubber Rabbits. Obviously, they need to win this map. That's their aim, to keep this match going. And if they do, like I said, Steel can be such a coin flip at times. If you have some interesting strats, you get those cheese strats to work, you get a Pyro dunking a few people into the pit. Who knows what could happen? But this is, of course, a best of 3 on upwards, so we'll be seeing another round after this at least. And if Gimme opponent hold on here for the 8 minutes and 20, then that'll be it. They'll be taking the first round and we'll be moving on to the second round. But if Suffocating Rubber Rabbits manage to push faster, then they'll be taking this first round. And, you know, this is, of course, Gimme opponent's pick. This is their map choice, having taken their opponent's map choice very comfortably in that first round. But we'll see how things going on. So we do see a pick early on, Sniper v Sniper, Dito going down to Marv. And now we see another frag coming down as Spyro picks up another one. And then we go, Marv takes down the Demoman. No defensive pressure. There's 4 down now for Gimme opponent. That's just going to open the doors for the Rubber Rabbits to walk forward.
We see a reflect rocket there from Rez getting onto Useless there, so nice stuff from him to get that kill. I think there was a moment there where HBFS Stinghand didn't even notice the soldier behind him until we eventually went into his field of vision. So it was a good push there actually from the side of Rubber Rabbits. I think the only lucky bit was a bit, I guess, with the cart, it didn't really have ×3 on it, so it didn't get enough position until now essentially. So looking to try and commit into this round right now, we're going to try and get a lot of players on this cart. Gun's still up right now for the side of Gimme opponent. Eventually does go down. Teleport was going to get sapped off by the Spyro as well. So the first cap going comfortably as well to Rubber Rabbits, who are looking really to try and do a better performance in this map.
Definitely, they were 4 down there, and they do have an uber advantage. Ballsy is about 55% there. CeeJaey only at 20%. So that might come into play here if they play sensibly and smartly. They are getting some frags. That's just going to slow down the push here. Michu getting a face full of heavy and having to back off there, but Tercio goes down in a scout v scout against Vinny. So they are doing a bit of a forward hold here, trying to hold on the cliff. They've got a sentry up, they've got a sniper in position, who is in fact Detoed running the Razorback, just does not want to get backstabbed there. But you can see Mia's got a teleporter and a sentry quite far forward, the point that Vori walks past it, doesn't even realise. And the Uber is used by Ballsy, and I'm not sure why there didn't seem to be any threat, and there didn't seem to be anyone to kind of kill.
Yeah, maybe we're just looking to be really aggressive there, but a huge Uber disadvantage now for the side of Gimme opponent. So let's try and consolidate position right now, but a lot of players coming in. Another reflex rocket onto Useless there, so Rez really giving Useless there trouble, so not a few stuff from him, as the rest of the team looks to try and still commit to this top hold, despite the cart actually being on the edge of the tunnel right now, which is a bit of a questionable position. If someone manages to slip in there and get some more cap time onto it, it could actually open up some sort of gap now for the side of Rubber Rabbits. But right now, Gimme opponent looking to try and still hold their ground. We've got Spyro there eventually getting mowed down by the flamethrower of Rez, and now the Uber's going to be popped out on the side of Rubber Rabbits, so looking to try and force them back into this balcony area, which is considered to be the more classic hold for upward second.
Ooh! Whispers there gets air shot as he tries to jump around the corner. Really interesting kind of Ubers coming in here. Vori gets a couple of frags there, so it's just going to slow down that car pressure. But I don't really understand that the push is coming in from Rubber Rabbits. They're not leading with anyone with any purpose. It's kind of Ubers used on the heavy retroactively rather than aggressively. And we do see a defensive vehicle coming in from Gimme opponent as Ballsy's going to try and get his plays in the game. Big jump in from Miju. Can he get anyone? Whispers is launched into the air and does eventually die. So they picked up a couple of frags there. Although they're losing more players than they're gaining. CeeJaey is in the window, and actually HBFS dropped down behind to try and get something done. Can CeeJaey get away? So weak! He's down to about 10 HP. He's got Vinny for company and actually is going to survive. Vinny takes down Stinghand. This is turning it into their advantage. It's great reflex from Master of Disaster. He's going to take down Vori. That's 5 down now for Gimme opponent. This capture will surely go down for the Suffocating Rubber Rabbits. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left for the next few points. Ballsy died in all of that chaos, and that means a huge Uber advantage for the Rabbits. They're at 100% right now, already looking to take the corner, and Gimme opponent desperately trying to get some sort of defense here on the 3rd point.
What a great reflex! That's like the 5th one he's got this round. What is this from Rez? He got like a 3rd one onto Useless during that melee when you were talking there, and then he gets another reflect pipe onto the Demo Man. His mouse 2 is on point today, I tell you.
He just got the timing down right. I mean, we've seen some up from Master of Disaster as well, but it's just crazy. And again, there we go, Vori picking up some damage, and Whispers getting picked off there by Tercio. So they're just trying to make some space for themselves. Again, the cart is in this kind of awkward position just at the bottom of the tracks before they can get up into the main area, I guess, where the wood is. And when you're in that situation, you can easily be spammed by multiple people. But it is quite a defensive hold here from the opponent. Stinger gets headshot there by Marv. So not much space on balcony. Great rockets coming in from Miju. And Fundo is going to get the backstab onto the sniper, so no pressure coming in from the Rabbits. But Mia just doing the boring job of pushing the cart. And we do see an Uber exchange on slope as Ballsy's going to use it aggressively. CeeJaey only at 80%, doesn't quite have it yet. Can anyone get close to that medic? No. He's long gone, closer to second than anything else. And again, an Uber advantage for them, George.
Yeah, big Uber ad as well, and with the cart positioned where it is right now, just above the little ramp that like actually brings it down, it's a good chance right now for the side of Rubber Rabbits to take this third point. 3 minutes left on the clock actually, so they've got to be moving pretty quickly because it's going to take a while actually to get the cart up there. We've got Tertia making waves underneath, just trying to denying that area right now. We've got Spyro taking this general spy fight with Fundo. He's looking to try and get him behind now enemy lines. So the rest of the team looks to consolidate a position onto the balcony. We've got Stinghand set up in the classic heavy position right now. It's generally really strong there for heavy as well. You can generally deny a lot of high ground, and now the Uber's going to be popped in right now for the Rubber Rabbits. Lean that on to with Vinny, who's going to go immediately shoot behind, probably looking to cut off any sort of players that are trying to back off here, and it's going to actually pick off Detoad as well, so not a space there. As the sentry is going to be eventually taken down as well by Vinny's pistol as well, but with Mia once again doing the boring job of pushing the cart and with ×1.
I really like that play. They Uber Vinny in, and he doesn't go directly into anyone, he just goes up the stairs all the way behind, manages to pick off the sniper, the NG, and then take down the sentry eventually as well. So really good play. I mean, they're not the flashy picks, but it's getting in behind and causing a problem as the Uber is used by the defensive side here. Gimme opponent trying to get some damage and frags down here with Vori and Tercio, but it's not really working too well as they've got more players on the car here from the Rabbits. Should be able to get the cut, but no, Vori's still contesting. Takes down Spyro, Ding Dong Kong goes down as well, and CeeJaey goes down to Sting, and I have no idea where he was, but he gets taken down by that Tomislav, and that means there's going to be an Uber jump advantage for Ballsy. They have given up this third point, but with only 1 minute and 30 left on the clock. It's going to have to be a big push here coming out of the Rubber Rabbits, and they've got an Uber disadvantage to play with as well.
Yeah, Gimme opponent definitely looking to take that much more stronger last hold as opposed to try and commit to thirds and like give them a chance to try and capture this last. 1 minute 10 left as well, so it's going to be like some sort of really crucial push right now for the side of the Rubber Rabbits. As the rest of the Gimme opponent looked more consolidated up top right now, 70% on Ballsy as well. So like if push comes to stuff, he could probably Uber on point and generally deny any sort of campsite going to the side of Rubber Rabbits and generally seal the round essentially. It depends on the timing he pops it off, of course, and how many players he tends to flash.
Yeah, it's all going to be about, you know, the intricacies of that Uber. If they get forced now, then there's going to be a huge Uber advantage for the Rabbits and they can push in with it. But if they manage to hold on to it until late on, 35 seconds left in the game, I say that, but Ballsy gets headshot by Marv. Medic down, that is a drop. Coming in from the Gimme opponent medic, I think it was a 99% actually, I'm not sure if it classifies as a drop. 4 players alive for Gimme opponent. The Uber is used by CeeJaey. They're going to try and get some stuff done, trying to get their players in, and there's a pause.
Oh, of all times to like do
yes. Very awkward timing, but
yeah.
At the state of play, we see, you know, oh, it's edging closer. We see Rubber Rabbits are on the car here because they got about 4 players on the car. Stinging as on the high ground, big jump in from Meiji. We can't get anything done. There just isn't the time. It's 5 seconds. Someone needs to go into the car and stop that. Otherwise, it is going to go down. And actually, Rez comes in. He's just pushing everyone away. Oh my god, he gets like 3 kills. Mori comes in with the damage. That's absolutely insane. Rez is the savior of Gimme opponent, and he wins them that round single-handedly.
My god, the clutch plays from Rez once again, securing that round. That's only the first round as well for this map. They agreed to a best of 3, so we're going to be doing that. But my god, Rez, he's got like 5 reflex during that game, and then he does that with the last 5 seconds left as well. So, my god.
He has 4 reflect kills, 4 rocket reflect kills, and 1 grenade reflect kill. Rez there getting the second highest number of frags, going 21 for 10, highest KAD in the server. Crazy. Just I saw someone saying in Twitch chat, he attack, he protect, but he also reflect. I mean, he's been everywhere on this map. It's crazy. At that point, I saw Miju go in to try and defend the point, jump in, couldn't get anything done. There was so much damage, you know, onto him from so many different sources. Stingen was on heavy, but he was so far away, he couldn't do anything. And Rez just waltzes in, pushes people around, pushes them into the pit. Just reflect... Oh, my days, just insane. But top fragger of that game was, in fact, Marv, 27-12. Vori with 500 DPM, clearly helped by a bit by those crits, intermediate crits coming in here and there. But, you know, switching up the classes and doing well, coming out Gimme opponent. And they did get a lot of frags as well. You take a look at the team stats, and it was much closer this time. Only about 3k damage into it, and only 6 kills difference. As Vinny was going 21-13, Ding Dong Kong also getting 21 kills for himself as well. We are into the second round now, actually.
Yeah, round 2. First pick actually went on to Whispers there, so no Devil Man immediately for the side of Rubber Rabbits, looking to try and... they've got to be heartbroken, I think, from that first round. They have to be, but probably looking to try and make the most of it. They're going to be looking in. Crits popped up on the right side right now for the side of Gimme opponent on Devori. Not actually finding anything from what I can see there. It's just going to be the flank picks and the sentry actually going to get the kills there. And only 5 players up right now for the side of Rubber Rabbits, so trying to really... desperately trying to get some sort of frags and advantage in here, but Master Disaster going with good cap time. He's going to be able to set it up essentially for the next push, I'm sure, for Rubber Rabbits.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Tertier there. He's now on the spy, comes in behind and almost gets a frag onto somebody. Whispers was very weak, the demo, but CeeJaey was all too aware. But because of that confusion, you know, that uber advantage that they had is slowly slipping away as Ballsy is on that crit, which builds faster. It's about 20% behind. So they will probably get it around the same time. Obviously, crits cannot kill you if you are invincible due to an Uber. So have to see how things goes. But Ballsy goes down, backstab, Spyro sneaking in, manages to take down the medic. There is going to be no crits in play now. And CeeJaey at 100% can make his team invincible at any time. There's a lot of Gimme opponent players still alive, actually. And that car, you see the engineer and the scout both going down. They're just getting focused. And the players trying to push the car are being punished. And the combo from Rubber Rabbits have to come in now. They do use the Uber. HBFS just gets dropped. So much damage immediately onto that heavy. Master of Disaster is trying to get in behind. He's going to get chased down by Rez. And somehow this Uber has not worked out for the Rabbits. They've dropped too many players, and Gimme opponent are back in and trying to fight this.
Yeah, such a tentative position there for the side of Gimme opponent. They were really close with once the medic was down, they still tended to hold their ground, but like with the Uber ad as well, if you get forced off and like all die on that point, it's just going to be such a difficulty to like hold the other points, but it just about works out for them in the end. And with this crit streak advantage as well, it's going to be able to provide some sort of defensive advantage right now for the side of Gimme opponent, with Rubber Rabbits looking to sneak in. We've got the Spy eventually getting the cap as well. Spyro, nice stuff from him to sneak in and get that cap for his team, which will buy them some extra time. But it depends really. I mean, with the respawns, and Gimme opponent could be looking to try and commit to this.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting picks. There's no combo now for Rubber Rabbits, and the crits comes in. They're going to take down the sniper. Can they get anything else? Wow, so much damage coming down onto everyone. CeeJaey is so weak, trying to escape on 20 HP. Does just get into spawn there, so keeping hold of that 50% Uber. So that could come into play as Ballsy goes down to HBFS. Was very weak there due to the scout, and they have picked up frags.
That has to cue the retreat there from the opponent. They lost the medic, they lost most of their combo. They have to back off there and just basically consolidate position onto second. And nice stuff there from little Jessica, I don't know, who he's tagged up Taz to get the gun onto second. So now Gimme opponent looking to try and set up properly onto this second point. 2 minutes 27 on the first point already right now for the side of Rubber Rabbits, as the combo looks to do the classic top push for this particular hold right now, with the Gimme opponent looking not to give them any sort of space onto this window area actually.
Yeah, you see the amount of players. Rubber Rabbits are up top. They have this Uber. All they need to do is use the Uber and kind of launch forward. Wow, Marv takes down the NG and the sniper. And he's getting the picks. He takes down the medic as well. There's a 3-kill streak for that man as Ballsy goes down to the headshot. And I don't even need to use this Uber, George. They've got a huge advantage, and they can probably carry that on to third.
Yeah, best case scenario for opponent right now is basically to get a force onto the medic, but with the not really many casters actually able to do that right now. I don't think anyone's positioned behind either, so I think actually Tertius behind, so if he's able to get a pick onto the medic here, could actually buy him some time for this next push. But second cap going to go down, 4 minutes 15 currently on the clock right now for the side of Rubber Rabbits, so quite a looking to progress around a near identical time to, I think, Gimme opponent from the first round as well.
Tercio there manages to get the stab. He was hiding in the house above second point, just swoops down and gets the backstab onto CeeJaey. So that is a drop, and that huge advantage that Suffocating and Rubber Rabbits had has now just been eliminated. And we see Wiethoofd now starting to pop off a little bit on Sniper himself. They're at 70%, and you know, we're still seeing the crit screen coming out of Ballsy here. Clearly they want to just DM this the last few points. But Reds goes down, and Marv, you know, has been doing well, and doesn't seem to be under much pressure from anybody. So he's allowed to just get these shots off. And again, we see Vinny and Mia just doing that job of pushing the cart as best they can. And Tercio is cloaked on the point, just watching. But this Chris has to come out aggressively, surely.
Yeah, quite a progress there being made onto the cart there from Mia and the Scout, but eventually going to be forced off there by the Scout presence and going to roll back eventually. Now Mia's going to try and nudge it back up again during this push, I think, now for the side of Rubber Rabbits. We're going to see HBFS positioned up top here with Whispers underneath as well, so just a general split push here, I think, for the side of Rubber Rabbits. You've got to be careful with this soldier, actually, Amiju. If he's able to get in behind, but the Uber does come out eventually. He hasn't been spotted out as well, so good provide some potential flank damage, actually, to try and deny that cart if he wants to. And the rest of the Gimme opponent actually not looking to contest this Uber, actually, backing way off, actually, nearly into last. And Jessica looking to rebuild with a forward position onto the tracks, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting a bit messy here, and that's always going to favour the defensive team as Vori comes in with the pipes, takes down a bunch of people, and that's going to give the man advantage to Gimme opponent. And you know, once they get back into a situation where they can just hold as Dito gets a nice headshot onto Vinny there, they can just chill in their positions now. They've got their sentry set up, they've got an Uber advantage, which of course is that crit screen. Any pressure that's going to come in from either of the players, as Whispers gets backstabbed by Tercio, and just watching Ding Dong Kong and Master of Disaster now, they're met in by the opposing Pyro. The crit comes in the front area. So much going on both areas of the map, but they don't get the medic. CeeJaey has survived the crits once again. He's at 60% advantage over Ballsy. They should be able to push with an Uber advantage, and they need to make it happen. But somehow he died?
Yeah, Vori was like distracted on the left side, and like we saw Miju there getting an escape plan kill onto the demo man of Whispers there, so that's got to hurt a bit, I think. But actually still making quite progress onto this cart right now. Mia once again proving fruitful in this cart, trying to get this time for his team essentially, and now going to be looking to try and commit to this. Actually he's got gun stepped as well, so probably looking to commit to this cap actually. A lot of the players actually scattered on the side of Gimme opponent, and with no sentry to defend him, it's going to be down to Dito essentially to try and knock down the sight line.
Yeah, I mean, once you get in that situation, no sentry, so there's so much free space around the shithouse area now and on the tracks. That is that crits to kind of be aware of. Ballsy's at 90%, that can be popped up at any time, and if you're up close, it's not going to be very fun to have, you know, a crits demo or a crits heavy coming in. It does look like they're going to get ready to use it. I don't think they're ready to give up this third point.
I think it's going to come into Vori. Or maybe the soldier, actually. Both projectile classes are set up here, but actually he's going to be looking to circle back for the hills. Very questionable, actually. Now the crits eventually does get popped off. I think they had a much better position there. If he just committed to the right side, I think that maybe there was a bit of a distraction on the left side there. So nice stuff there from the Rubber Rabbits to make the distraction and get the cap as well. So 7 minutes 51 on the clock, so quite average time, it has to be said, as they look to try and roll this in to the edge of last and try and set up some sort of last push in.
Absolutely, and now Ballsy just spawning now. Little Jessica is still down, Stinger is still down. It's a lot of defensive players who aren't going to be, you know, ready in a right position here. So it's a good opportunity for Rubber Rabbits to get aggressive here, but Ballsy is getting taken down by Ding Dong Kong again, just snuck in there. And only 2 alive for Gimme opponent. They have to be careful here, otherwise he could just get rolled onto last. The car isn't really in a great position yet. It's just coming through the choke point. So Gimme opponent are going to get the respawns, but they're not going to be in a good position. You take a look at Rubber Rabbits. They have the high ground, which they are now giving up to try and focus on the car here. They don't have an Uber to play with, so you know, some damage could come down on the car. Tercio is going to come in from behind. Can he get anything done? Actually, gets fragged here by the medic potentially. A bit of one-on-one, and actually it's going to be Miju who comes in and gets a couple of kills. CeeJaey did take down Tercio, but at the cost of his life. Ballsy has survived, and Gimme opponent lived to fight another day. No, Ding Dong Kong 3 times in a row comes in to kill Ballsy, and that is medic down, and the Kongster here is buffing up their med kill stats.
But more importantly for the side of Gimme opponent, the Demo Man is still alive on Vori. He's got to be careful not to get too committed here. If you're in this position, unlike with the cart just about to be capped, you want to play really passively and just generally spam stickies all the way into it. Like maybe even use a switch to a Quickie Bomb launcher if it's even allowed in the UGC. I don't know if it is, but generally you could just deny the Demo Man spamming any stickies there and just generally cause as much damage as possible to try and deny any sort of space onto that cart. And with Rubber Rabbits, they've got to be really careful not to like go en masse onto the cart and just like panic and try and get time, because if they do, the Demo Man and the Soldier are going to be really fruitful and just basically kill everything. But actually Vori really low HP, so be careful not to get picked off here by Vinny. Going to try and walk back into the spawn and just about gets it into the reset. But now Mia on point actually going to get his cap, I think. Well, it gets launched off, she's into the spawn right now, probably looking to try and get some sort of flank pick off of that with like a very low HP. And now more defense coming out for the side of Gimme opponent, trying to draw out that clock as much as possible to give them the best chance for the next round.
I was just watching Vinny there. Vinny ran in, killed Detoad, ran underneath, killed Rez, ran up top, managed to almost get 2 more kills. It was just Vori escaped just into the spawn there. So Vori just getting aggressive, not going for the cap, just trying to get as many frags as possible. But he, despite killing a third of the team himself, nobody else could really get anything going on. And Ballsy gets taken down. There's another drop. But this time it's a quick fix drop as he switched up mediguns. There is an Uber being used here by Sage Luke onto his team. Can they get anything done? Mia's trying to go for the cart, but huge damage coming down here. It's just Stinghan in this little cheeky area. Tercio on the car, managed to get 1, 2, managed to get 2 kills. And finally he's going to go down, but some precious seconds there brought in by the Polish couple of players on Gimme opponent there. Tercio and Stinghan combining for a little bit of distraction. But 10:53, that's a fairly long time. You were talking about double digits earlier, George, and I mean, do you think Gimme opponent are going to be feeling confident for this attacking phase?
Well, Gimme opponent, if I recall, did it about 8 minutes 30, so they're definitely in a good position to like get this other round and secure the series in general. Actually, this will be like series point for them essentially, and secure their buy into the second round of the upper bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of when you're in that situation, you feel that you can make a mistake and it's not going to be the end of the world. Whereas, you know, Suffocating Rubber Rabbits, they know that they have to hold here. They can't make a mistake. They can't have any drops. They can't have anyone getting picked off or sniped. They just have to play to the best of their ability and hope that it's going to be good enough to get a round defense here, because if they don't defend this for 10:53, then they are out and knocked down to the lower bracket. So Gimme opponent in the driving seat, we do see still the same classes that we saw in that previous area. Ballsy switching up the miniguns again last second, and he isn't going to be on the crit streak at 75%. So again, the same thing they've done all the way through this map.
So yeah, starting off this round, generally normal stuff right now. We're going to get the cart past the roof and try and generally call your team forwards. We've got Ballsy set up with the Uber charge, trying to get set up on the left side onto Vori. Actually, it pops up crits here. It's going to pick up Master as well onto the left side, and Whispers actually went down. And Marth as well. 3 kills from 4 kills with Vori with this crits crease, and proving fruitful on this left side. Just 5 players up right now for the side of the Rubber Rabbits, as they're looking to try and reply with this Uber, try and buy some sort of time for this. But SageLuke's got to be careful not to get caught out of position, and then the rest of the team looking to come in. They've got Tertia set behind with the Sapper actually trying to get in there. It's actually the red tape recorder, you don't see that often. But anyway, he's going to try and get the gun. The gun eventually does go down, and actually Dito gets a pick on the SageLuke as well, so no medic now for the second defense for a significant amount of time, and Gimme opponent surely really goodly positioned for this next push.
I don't know if you fancy going dancing, George, but if you do, you just need to take a look at what Ballsy was doing on that first point there. He was just bopping in between the rock and balcony, going back and forth. Vinny fully Ubered, chasing, had to go back and forth, just dodging for his life, and actually managing to survive using the crits that he's held onto here, getting a few kills. SageLuke does go down to that crit sticky, and this is starting to get a bit of a snowball effect here. And Suffocating Rubber Rabbits, if they have any chance of holding on in this game, have to get a decent setup on third. They're going to have to do it at a disadvantage. 5-second respawns on 4 players, and Ding Dong Kong down for another 10. So it's going to be difficult for them to get anything on third here. Mia's already got a level 2 up, but that's getting spammed out straight away by Vori. Master Disaster has also gone down, and it's not looking good for the Rabbits.
Yeah, definitely. They were way too late, like transitioning from second to third there. They only did it just as the point was capped on the side of Gimme opponent, so it was just no time to set up a third hold in any sort of way. And now with the cap time that Gimme opponent has on this third point coming up the spiral, this next bit is going to be really crucial, because if Gimme opponent managed to get a really good crits push once again and like build this up and get a lot of frags, we're going to see probably a lightning time potentially onto this round here. The gun only level 1 as well on the side of Rubber Rabbits, so probably looking to try and upgrade that as much as possible before coming into this. But with Mia down, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, but the saving grace there was Spyro did manage to get a backstab onto Ballsy, so he would have had crits by now. Respawn still on the crits, but it's going to be about equal with Sage Luke, who is at 75% around now, still running that medigun. So they're going to be invincible as long as they don't drop. Should be not too bad. As we just see people pressuring, and Spyro does get a backstab onto Vori, so that is demoed down, and Miyu takes down the scout. He is just mining for diamonds, this kid. Gets a second pickaxe skill of the game. Eat your heart out, Minecraft. 3 down now for the defending team, and make that 4 actually as Tercio gets the backstab. 5 down as Spyro gets taken down by the Widowmaker, and Ballsy at 100% crits. Sage at 100% Uber. Is going to get messy.
Miju just got launched into the clip as well for the knockback of the sentry gun, so a bit awkward there. Cart actually getting well placed here for this push, and the crit ski actually pops out there, but eventually Vori going to go down, so no pressure with the crit stickies right now. But this cap time really proving fruitful right now, and they're probably looking to get this third point actually, with 7 minutes still on the clock, so all to play for into this last point.
Absolutely, I mean, we've seen it happen. I've seen crazier things. I've seen teams. There was a Deutschland match in 2015 where a team they had about 8 or 9 minutes to push last, and they screwed it up. They messed it up big time. As both medics die at exactly the same time, Miju comes in and kills Sage Luke, but Ballsy gets backstabbed again this time, and it's just frags coming in from both sides. And as long as that cart keeps moving, it's going to be in the advantage of Gimme opponent. But the high ground is currently being held by the Rabbits. Mia with that sentry, aggressive in the window again, is going to prevent anyone from really capturing the cart as Tercy tries to get a backstab, but he's going to get taken down by Vinny. So maybe a little bit more time for the Rabbits to kind of settle down a bit here and get a hold.
Yeah, definitely. So you gotta be careful not to get too aggressive onto this and like do the sort of like really panic play that the Rubber Rabbits were doing themselves into that very clutch round where Rez got the reflex there. But eventually, it basically just need to wait for your Uber, wait for you to get in position, execute the push, get the frags you need, and then just play onto point with like all the explosive classes down. Really, the crucial picks here for the side of Gimme opponent is going to be the Demo Man and Soldier, because they deny so much space onto that last point. Essentially, you can just like spam for days onto point and no one can touch it. Essentially, so right now I think the side of Gimme opponent looking to come up top right now. The crits actually I think just getting built up right now. 70%. Boys, you gotta be careful with the sideline right now. I saw a dot actually onto him, and just gonna be giving heals out to Miju right now. But the cart's getting really closely placed actually to the edge. So really good position here for the side of Gimme opponent to seal this round. And with 3 players up actually on the side of Rubber Rabbits, this could be it. Yeah,
Rez there just barreling up and getting the med pick. And then everyone else just started winning the fights of their own. At the moment, it's just Master of Disaster. The crits is used onto the Soldier. Master of Disaster coming in from behind. Can he push anyone in? The Soldier falls down. Miju with the crits can't survive. Sage Luke is desperately trying to get some time blocking that cart. It's 5 minutes to go, but it's more than enough time for Gimme opponent to roll it in there.
I think Cart's the real MVP for killing the Soldier there at the end. But yeah, it's going to be Gimme opponent seeing out that series. They're going to be advancing into the second round of the upper bracket. Unfortunately for Rubber Rabbits, it just wasn't enough. They're going to be in the losers bracket. And both of these teams are going to be facing either, I think, Wheelchair or Art of Throwing in their respective rounds. So it might be interesting to see how that other game actually panned out in terms of the fixtures.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, you could argue it's the stronger side of the bracket because we've got the 3rd seed here, Gimme opponent, playing as well as Wheelchair. They're the 2nd highest seed on this side of the bracket. So potentially we could have 2nd versus 3rd seeds playing in the next round. I'm not sure how the other games have gone tonight. We did have on the other side of the bracket Failure Esports coming up against Xenon and Kitty versus G-Bucket Fanboys. So the winner of those going into the semi-finals on the other side. But I mean, I guess we can take a look at the logs there from the last game. Just trying to find them.
11k damage, 580 damage a minute, and 35 kills. Once again, top fragging.
That's
and on a different class.
Pretty good. That's pretty. I mean, when you take a look, it's interesting to see a lot of the classes are quite similar this time around. Soldiers. I mean, actually, Miju, they're going 26 for 11 is also really good. So the explosive classes for Gimme Opponent doing extremely well. I mean, Vori there, most kills, most damage, highest KAD. Just doing insanely well. Detoed on the sniper. 24 for 12, so again, getting over 20 kills a minute. Sorry, not 20 kills a minute. 20 kills over a 1 kill a minute at least. Both meds died at the same number of times. Both died 10 times. 1 drop apiece. But in the end, I just think it was just a little bit of coordination and just the players were winning the DM fights. In that last push there, we saw both meds die, and then CeeJaey getting a decent position. Everyone looked okay for the rabbits on that last side. They could have maybe stabilized a little bit, but in the end, it's just players just going in and winning DM fights. And if you're killing 2 or 3 people every time you go in, that's just going to make it really, really easy for the rest of the players on your team. But 3-0 on Product, 2-0 on Upward. I think it's a very deserved win for Gimme Opponent. But who is your player of the day for this match?
Oh, that's a tough question. We saw Vori do really well on Product and this round of Upward, but I think in terms of hype factor, it's got to be Reds. My God, those reflex on that particular round of the Upward and the clutch bit with the 5 seconds left as well. I think he really showed up and secured was a factor in this win for Gimme Opponent.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think Vori has done insane amounts of kills and damage on both Scout and then onto Demo. I mean, the fact that there was class switching up, definitely shout has to go out to him. Maybe Miju with the two pickaxe kills. Who knows? But Rez's play at the end there was pretty insane. But lots of players standing out on this first round game of the Season 25 UGC European Platinum Highlander playoffs. And it's going to be Gimme Opponent going through to the next round, beating Suffocating Rubber Rabbits 2-0. And we'll be seeing more games later in the week from Chris Cast. We've got some Nations Cup games, ETF12 6v6 Nations Cup. So if you want to see which countries are doing the best in the 6v6 league, take a look at there. We also have the start of the ETF12 Highlander season. Season 16 is underway this week. We have some premiership games for you, hopefully lined up later in the week. And of course, the continuation of the UGC playoff season, which will be carrying on from next Monday. I've been CeeJaey, joined by George. Pleasure as always, with Wiethoofd doing all of the whispering and production in the background, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!